From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
You have found the Badass Counseling Show. It is really great to have you here. This is our podcast, and you are now listening. Thanks for joining us. Whether you are joining us in the United States from the Deep South or the far north, from Calgary to Nova Scotia, over on the Iberian Peninsula, or way over in Kyoto or Hong Kong, we love having you join our show. We've got listeners around the world, and we value every one of you and all that you write in and the insights you give and the success stories you share. And I am joined in studio by my team, KC over in the booth, and Rob the Rocket next to me. Rob, what say you, young man?
Glad to be on the team, Coach.
Yeah?
Ready to go.
Well, let's go. Tell us about Natasha.
All right then, Sven. Natasha wrote in and said, I had a hard childhood where I was sex trafficked and forced into drugs and gang life at the age of 12. I was tormented then because I was forced to hide it, living a so-called normal life with the fear that if I said anything, they would kill my little sister. They said my mom would hate me because if I just kept my mouth shut, my sister would be alive. My mom was a single parent with 2 girls. My father died when I was 4. I couldn't let my mom hurt anymore. I did it and hid it until just recently. I'm now 36 and never spoke of it till I was about 32. I've spent my entire life alone and afraid to let anyone in, feeling like I'm just here as a mistake, one of God's rejects that he forgot about, because he allowed me to experience things that no human should ever have to face.
Natasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. That is a hell of a life, Natasha. It's a tribute to your resilient spirit that you are alive today and functioning, and wow. I just have to say, wow.
It's hard to even just find the will to stay alive, the will to, get up out of bed most days. But, you live and you find, all you can do is find the lesson in it and the silver lining, and, it's not happening anymore. So
that's the silver lining?
It taught me some good lessons. I guess, it was hard, in the beginning, with feeling ashamed to say that it wasn't all bad.
And when you say it wasn't all bad and there were good times, I assume you mean your childhood, not the actual sex trafficking, drugs, and gang life itself? Or what are you referring to? Help us understand.
So both, so it started out really bad, but throughout it, you prove your skills and you prove, you're valuable and needed or whatever. And that kind of gets you a little less of the physical stuff, a little more say, a little more of a voice, and so it's like, yeah, okay, I proved I was good. They needed me. I had more value than just, certain things or whatever. And even throughout it, there came a little bit of respect, a little bit of human, I guess, where I was treated like a human versus an object.
If there's a lesson to be learned from it, you say there are, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you personally took from all of it? You've had an experience that most people have not had, a dreadful, horrible, heinous experience, and yet you say there are lessons. What for you was the biggest lesson in all of it?
Appreciation.
Of?
Learning to appreciate every little thing. Everything that we take for granted. Kind of like, somebody who gets sick and loses their arm, and it's like, oh, we don't even think about, using our arms or our hands or whatever until it's gone and you need it.
Okay. You
don't appreciate your voice or your opinion being considered until it's taken away.
That makes total sense. And it's amazing that that you found any sort of silver lining at all in it. That's incredible. Let me ask you, what is the absolute worst part about it from where you sit now at 36?
The mask I had to wear with everybody else. It was tough. Most of those girls, like, I find myself fortunate because a lot of those girls, they get taken away. They never see their families again. I got to live at home like a normal person, but there was always that fear that if you told anybody, if you screwed up or whatever, like, your family was under threat,
Right.
but you had to hide it, so
Why was
you're
that the worst
13.
part? Why was that the worst part? Help us understand.
I never got to figure out who I really was
Mm.
or my true likes or whatever because I was too busy being what I was told to be, acting like was told to act. And I didn't get to necessarily spend the time and experience with my family and my friends or whatever because I was busy. I had a job to do. And so I had to make excuses as to why I wasn't there or this or that or whatever.
So back us up. How did it initially happen? Were you abducted? How does it happen?
I had no father. I was looking for male acceptance, male love, male whatever. So it was male acceptance without a father, without a strong male figure. Single mom, she does the best she can, but she got 2 girls and she's got to work, you know. And so we were left alone on our own, kind of, in the summers and stuff. And there were some older males, teenagers, maybe middle school, high school, a little bit older, but still kids at the park, that we went to all the time. And so started hanging out with them. They seemed to like me. They seemed to accept me. They seemed to, give you that attention and that praise and that the acceptance that you're looking for. And well, all it is a trap. You want to come hang out at the house with us, and it's over.
Mm. And did the threats start right away?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the shameful of you like the attention or whatever. So it wasn't all at the beginning, you started hanging out with it, they give the attention. So you're willing to come back, willing to whatever. But then it's like, I need you to do this for me, or now you're going to do this, and then if you don't, this is the consequence.
Got it. And did it start with the sex, start with the drugs, or start with the gang life? What did it fundamentally start with?
So it started out, like most kids, smoking a little pot here or there, cigarettes, whatever. More just fun. And then there was the sex element. Oh, let me make you feel good. Let me, but I will say with a little bit of the respect and that kind of stuff until it took till I was 16 for me to be thrown out there. Until then, it was just within the house, the group, that area or whatever, kind of which whoever wanted whatever. But for it to be actually pimped out and actually, they at least waited till 16.
Okay. And just to sort of round out the picture a little more, was this in a urban setting, suburban setting, rural setting? What are we talking about?
Urban
setting.
A little bit higher class neighborhood,
I want to ask you an odd question, but maybe you've thought about it before. Maybe you haven't. Could someone who knew you have known?
I wish they would have. I think I played a good enough role and a big enough mask that they didn't. And it would be really sad if they did and didn't help. But, they could have.
And looking back on what you know now, or just what the average person might know, how would a person know that young Natasha was in over her head, was in trouble, was living this life? What might have been the indicators that someone, whether a teacher, a parent, a family member, the friend's mom or dad, how might someone have recognized it?
I think it would have been really hard just because it started so young. that would have just seemed like your personality. But I wasn't quite upbeat. I was always busy, always going somewhere. There was always an excuse why I couldn't be somewhere. I didn't go to school hardly ever. I barely passed, you know? And there was, as it got to be a little bit older, with males, I would flinch in their presence. I would very obedient, very rigid around males. Like, and that shouldn't be so, because to the outside world, like, there's no reason I should be that way.
Now, some report that with their own children or people who have a great deal of experience in this field report that a child will change. And that, of course, I mean, it's almost a statement of the obvious, but
Right.
that the changes are often noticeable in personality, in how they carry themselves. You've actually just stated two right off the top of your head that even you knew. I would flinch around males. I would grow rigid around males. Do you think, looking back, that you experienced or a significant change in your personality, in your character from, let's say, age 11 to age 13? Before it started happening to after?
I'd say that quick of an age, I don't think there was much of a noticeable change. But I'd say after about 16, 17, there was definitely a different personality. And not in the way you think. It was more of a sense of confidence, more of a sense of, entitlement and that kind of stuff. But it comes with you're needed, you're valued, and like there's money to be had and there's whatever and there's a certain standard and I'm getting beat. So like, I'm not afraid of you anymore.
And confidence growing would be seen as a positive attribute. No one would think of that as, oh, there must be problems. When in fact,
Correct.
even
Yep.
confidence can be an indicator of significant, horrible problems, right? Which is a fascinating take for a lot of people, what you just said there. Like, wow.
It is.
Okay. And so then I really have to, I want to zone in or sort of zero in on that last paragraph. I've spent my entire life alone and afraid to let anyone in, feeling like I'm just here as a mistake, one of God's rejects he forgot about because he allowed me to experience things no human ever should have to face. Then let me ask you this question. I'm alone, afraid to let anyone in, just here as a mistake, one of God's rejects. Then why are you here talking to me? What is it you're wanting in life from me? Why are you here right now?
Bring awareness, number one. So this doesn't happen to other people and that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to let somebody know and ask for help because nobody should ever experience that.
Fair point.
But it took about 3 years ago. My daughter's father, our daughter's 11 now, and we were, estranged. We didn't talk to each other for the first 7 years of our life or so. But then we became friends and we moved in together. And it was the first time I didn't flinch and the first time I felt safe and okay to start the healing process, to talk about it, to let people know that that's what I went through because nobody was going to leave. Nobody was going to judge me. He wasn't going to leave. He wasn't going to judge me. Whether he understood it or not. And so that's when it first started opening up. And with his encouragement, it's tell your story because it might help somebody.
And that is I have no doubt it will, is, can, and does. And that's very noble. Why are you on here for you?
I need to let myself know that it's okay to talk about that. When I hide it, when I feel like nobody's listening, nobody is whatever, why bother? It's giving myself a voice back. letting people know and letting, maybe it might help somebody. Like, you can't hide this from everybody and not that's mean, that's selfish.
So
If you know how you could help somebody and you don't.
So you don't desire any sort of healing for yourself or change of your own life beyond telling your story?
It's a form of healing. It's a form of letting go of the fear of telling people, letting go of, and it's kind of like they tell you in counseling, you write your feelings down on a piece of paper and then throw it away and it takes away the feelings. Well, if you don't talk about it, you can't heal from it. If you keep it internal, it stays and it does damage.
Okay, so the desire is to heal. You have the desire to heal.
Absolutely.
That's what I was wondering. And so then, if you were to put it into one sentence or less, what precisely do you desire to heal of or heal from? What do you want? What's the end goal for you? In one sentence or less?
Peace.
Peace.
Peace is the end goal.
Fair enough. Just out of curiosity, one thing that I didn't pick up on is you said you didn't go to school. Did the school notify
Not hardly.
your home?
Oh yeah. I fake sick every day. My mom had me tested for every kind of any gastrointestinal stuff, this and that, every specialist. But I just told her I was sick.
You would fake sick, and then so you're home from school, and then what?
Mm-hmm.
Mom goes to work, or what happens next?
Yep. Mom goes to work, sister goes to school. I've got the whole day free to do whatever.
Okay, got it. We're going to hear more from Natasha right after this short break.
I counseled with Badass Counseling for about 4 months, and Sven completely turned my life around. He kicked my butt. No shit. He made me do homework too, but I was so ready for a change that I just did it all. I'm telling you, he changed my life. Thank you so much, Badass Counseling.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
We are back with Natasha telling us about this really terrible childhood, yet telling us also that she desires to heal. What do you believe in this end goal of peace that you desire? What do you believe is the biggest thing blocking you between where you are right now in your life and peace?
My vision of myself. How I see myself.
Okay. How do you see yourself? Tell me the top 3 biggest ways you see yourself.
Useless. A mistake. Invaluable.
Useless, a mistake, and invaluable. And this is going to sound like a silly question, but it's an honest question. Where did you get the messages that you are useless, a mistake, and invaluable? Because you told us earlier that when you were engaged in this life from 12 until when it ended at age when?
23.
12 to 23.
It's about 23.
Fair enough. So you told us that during those years, you actually grew in confidence and you grew some abilities and were good and became valuable and a moneymaker, presumably. And so where did you get the messages? How did the messages, you're useless, a mistake, and invaluable, where did they come from?
When it was all over and I wasn't useful anymore. I didn't have those skills anymore. And then everybody left. And since then, it's been a string of domestic violence relationships, bad friendships, toxic people. That's where I'm comfortable. That's who I know and how to deal with. And that's who I tend to flock to.
How much
Not necessarily on purpose, but...
Oh, for sure. How much memory do you have of your life prior to age 12?
Most of it.
Okay.
From about the age of 5.
And from roughly 5 to 12 then, what do you recall? I realize that maybe anything compared to 12 to 23, anything looks rosy. Anything looks fantastic. If you're comparing it against 12 to 23, got it. But if you sort of were able to set 12 and 23 aside, what do you remember? Because prior to age 12, you didn't know about 13 and 15 and 18 and 22. You didn't know about that. So what was your experience at 7 and 10?
It was still tough. I lost my father at the age of 4. He was killed at work. And it was just me, my mom, and my baby sister. My sister had just turned a year old. He died very close to her first birthday. And we lived in Florida at the time. And when that happened, my mom got super depressed, super whatever, but she always knew she had to take care of her kids. So she did the best she could, because prior to my dad dying, he was very abusive and controlling, an alcoholic and that kind of stuff. And she wasn't allowed to work. She wasn't allowed to do anything. So she had to start this whole new life all over, where she had to figure out to do things as an adult that she didn't know yet. And I agree, give her the credit of my resilience most times. But, she had an older sister, and she had gotten remarried and moved up here to Minnesota. And so after my dad died, she was thinking she would get support from her family. So we moved. And my grandfather moved. But my auntie and my grandfather and that side of the family, they weren't great people. They're not great people. Very judgy, very mean. They were always mean to my mom. And because I was like my mom and I stuck up for my mom, they didn't like me. They made fun of me. They tore me down. They very much favored my younger sister. But,
And this
so
is,
that was tough.
And so this all happened before you ever reached middle school age at age 12.
Yep. And I think that was one of the ways that made it so easy to fall into it.
Because?
It was better in the beginning. The illusion of it was better. And like I said, my mom was a single mom. She was an amazing person. She taught me everything I know about resilience and making it through and doing the best you can with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
She raised 2 young girls from, my dad, who was an abusive alcoholic. She didn't work. She didn't do anything she was allowed to do those things. She put herself through medical school. She took care of those. She didn't have government assistance.
Just out of curiosity, how old were you when your mother was in medical school?
So I think it was 3rd grade that she decided to put herself through medical school.
Wait a minute. And just so I'm clear, are we medical school like to be a doctor?
Nope. Medical assisting school.
Medical assisting school. There we go. Okay. And that's 3rd grade.
It was 2 years. Yep. So it was 2 years or whatever.
Sure.
So I became, a latchkey kid and that kind of stuff. But
sure.
It was okay with me. My mom, even doing all that, having to work multiple jobs, having to do that and being alone and just so overwhelmed and so tired, she was always there for us.
Well, okay. And so that, I'm curious, you're up near family, her family, and so forth. Mom's working a couple of jobs. If she's working more than one job, she's going to school. There are only so many hours in the day. And so I guess what I'm wondering is 8 to 9 years old, from 1st grade through 12, which is 6th grade-ish. If she's working those jobs, going to school, etc., who else is taking care of you?
My auntie, and that's where my sister got taken care of. She was very much favored. My aunties are very much, they want to impress people. They money and social status and that kind of stuff.
And
they
so
force their kids to be perfect.
Okay. And so it's with your auntie. And then when you were around your auntie, presumably, if I'm hearing you correctly, then you were also around the extended family and so forth. So is that quite a bit of your life?
Yep.
Cool.
And we tried to, they put on a good show, you know what I mean? But family was always very important to us. We were always together for barbecues and gatherings
But
and,
even more than barbecues and gatherings, literally, if I'm hearing you correctly, if mom's working a lot, mom's in school, literally every single day of your life during the week, you are interacting at the very least with auntie.
yeah.
Who favors your
Yep. Auntie and
sister
uncle. Yep.
and uncle, who favors your sister and is judgy and mean to you, tears you down, and makes fun of you. Accurate or inaccurate?
Accurate.
Okay. So then is it reasonable to assume that when I asked you, when did this vision of yourself being useless, a mistake, and invaluable, when did it start? And you said when it was all over. When from 12 to 23, you felt useful. You felt good, man. I got insane.
Right. Yep.
Insane as it sounds to an outsider, you actually felt like you fit in. You said that.
Right.
And then I asked you, okay, so what about before age 12? And then you tell us sort of the underbelly of the underbelly that even precedes that underbelly, the 12 to 23. And that is that you were being indoctrinated already.
Pretty much, yeah.
In the belief system that you are less than, you are the butt of jokes, and you are the sort of shit stick of criticism of the people who claim to love you, of the very people that mom is entrusting you to.
Unfortunately, they treated my mom like that the whole time. In her childhood, she was the black sheep. She was in a car accident when she was 2, backstory, with her mom and her younger sister, and they both were killed in that car accident. She wasn't supposed to live through the night, had some damage done, whatever. And so her family has treated her, well, her father and her older sister have treated her like she's stupid, like, you're brain damaged and you don't know what you're talking about.
And is your sister an older sister or a younger sister?
She's a younger sister.
Younger sister. And they were very good to your younger sister. I'm sure your mom appreciated that they were so good to her.
Yes and no.
Why no?
Because they brainwashed her to be like them.
I see.
My sister and I don't even have a relationship anymore.
So back when it was happening, then she saw how your family was treating your sister back at age 4 when you moved there, and 8 and 10 and 12. She saw that your mom saw how they were treating your sister so special. Is that correct? And that would have been distinctly different from how they were treating her as a kid. Doesn't that also mean then that your mother saw how they were treating you?
Yep. And my mother gave me lots of love. She was aware of it. She knew I was aware of it. She knew it wasn't okay.
Fair.
And she would try to stand up for me,
but
when they would, whatever, but they put her down too.
Right. And see, this is the beginning of the problem. I don't doubt that your mom worked hard. I don't doubt that your mom loved you. Not one bit. Don't doubt it. But she didn't protect you from them.
She did everything she could to protect me from them.
Okay.
That's why I was allowed to be alone for a long time, because it wasn't good for me over there. My mom.
But wait a minute. When were you allowed to be alone?
Like 3rd grade, when she would go to.
But wait a minute. I thought you said that you spent basically every single day.
I mean, basically. So like before school, because it was so early or whatever, my mom would drop me off there. They lived very close to my elementary school. And so my mom would drop me off there very early in the morning. Like she would go to school at I think she had to leave at 4:00 in the morning.
Right. So you were being influenced by these people who were mean and judgy and put you down.
Right.
Basically every single day.
Right. And the thing is with my mom, she knew I didn't accept that, and
that's
I
just
knew what they were doing.
Wait. Stop. I don't doubt for one second that little girl put on a tough face and said all the right things. But tell me, how did it feel to a 7-year-old girl to be judged every day of the week by the people who claim to love her. How did it feel to be subjected to mean people? Now, don't talk about it as a 36-year-old, as a 7-year-old.
Back then, it it hurt, but even back then, I had to grow up real fast.
I'm not disputing. Wait a minute. I'm drawing a distinction here. I'm not asking. Wait a minute. I'm not asking how you adapted. I had to grow up real fast. In other words, that's your adaptation. That's what you had to do. You had to put on a shit shield because the shit was coming at you. But why would you have to put on a shit shield at all?
I shouldn't have to.
Right.
You're right.
That's right. But why? Hurts. But again, there you go. Because it hurts.
Yep.
They were hurting you every day of your life.
Right. But, and I'm not saying it hurt, but because my mom talked to me about it and I knew about their attitudes and the way she was treated by them.
What? Because she talked to you, what? What was the effect?
I was able to forgive them.
No way. No way. And let me tell you why. Because you said earlier, because of that childhood of the first 12 years, that sort of was what created or what led to what happened at 12 and 13 and 14.
It made it easier.
Well, wait a minute. I thought you had forgiven them and everything was done with and it's just taken care of. It's no effect.
I mean, at 7, I wasn't able to fully forgive them, but I was able to forgive and let what they said roll off my back.
No, you didn't. You just said a few minutes ago at age 12, by 12, that's sort of what led to, because of what had happened from 4 until 12, that's what led to, that's what made that sort of transition just sort of happen, made it sort of more natural, made it sort of easier. It's sort of one sort of led to the other.
I didn't have a father figure. I didn't have male figures. Looking for that male acceptance. It was able to just write them off as they're not a father figure. My uncle was not a father figure. My uncle was nothing to me. He was blood, And so I was still looking for that male acceptance still, but their comments to me, it didn't affect me anymore. Yes, it did.
I'm telling you as a matter of abs, I am telling you that you may have adapted to get through. I'm not disputing that. It did affect you. There is no way in heaven or hell a child gets those messages and they don't penetrate them to the very deepest depths of their soul. There is literally no way that happens. And there is no way a child or even a child with the help of a mother gets those out on her own because you are being subjected to it every single day. And then from 4 to 12, then you go right into the lion's den, being subjected to it even more, being subjugated even more. But what I'm wanting to look at is that 4 to 12, because that's the setup. Am I saying that 12-year-old stuff wouldn't have happened? No, who knows? But what I'm looking at is there's no way. All I'm offering is there is so much fucking pain inside of you down deep, and the forgiveness did not make that pain go away. Nor did it make the beliefs that you were taught to believe about yourself from 4 to 12. From 4 to 12, it didn't make those go away. So saying I forgive, well, it's an honorable thing. I'm not disputing you were trying to do something good, but it didn't make those beliefs or that pain go away.
And I guess you're right, but I can see that now at 36. At 7, that was normal to me.
Of course.
That was normal. So it wasn't as hurtful and painful to me then. It didn't affect me as much then because that was just normal.
Well, yeah, of course.
I didn't know there was any difference.
Sure, fair. That's fair. I'll buy that.
So looking at the 7-year-old stage, it was, okay, that's just what it is. They don't like me. My family doesn't like me. Okay, whatever.
You have an 11-year-old child of your own, correct?
Yes, sir.
If someone were to start subjecting your child to daily put-downs, insults, meanness, to use your word, judgment, to use your word, every day, even if it was just for an hour at the beginning of the day, sort of start your day with a good motivational, you're a piece of shit talk every day, even in small ways or a look or something like that. If someone were to do that to your 11-year-old, first of all, how would you feel about that?
Horrible. It happens to her all the time. She's got autism.
Okay. And if it were, it happens to her all the time, may I ask, at the hands of whom? I'm sure not your hands.
No, absolutely not. And thank God we've moved school districts now. So about fourth grade, we moved school districts, and this is a much better district. But
good.
From her kindergarten till we moved in second grade, she was bullied maliciously at school every day. She was made fun of by her teachers.
Why did you get her out of there? I don't understand.
So in the beginning, it was I didn't have a choice. I was a single mom. I was very limited on my income.
Understood. But why did you get her out of there?
Oh, why did I get her out of there?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't safe for her. It wasn't okay.
Wait a minute. I thought you just said you're a single mom and you couldn't get her out of there. And then you decide, and then it was really bad and you got her out of there.
So when we moved, like I said in the beginning, her father and I got back together and moved together. And so she had a dad now. I had somebody to help me. I had
fair,
all that stuff.
And so by getting her out of there, you are fundamentally saying that what was being done to her was horrible and you would do whatever you had to do to protect your daughter.
Yeah, I was up at this school almost every day the last year she was in that district.
Gotcha. What is different between the way then you treated your daughter being horribly bullied, put down, being mean to, and how your mother treated you being bullied, horribly put down, and being mean to and judged? What's the difference in how the two of you parented your 7-year-old?
Just about nothing.
Really? Your mom got you out of there?
She did the best. She has many.
That's not the question.
No,
in the end, what did you do? You got your daughter out of there.
And my mom, for the longest time, we stopped going over there for a long time.
Nope. You said
a certain amount of years.
You said that every day of your life, basically during the week, you started your day at your auntie's house.
Right. When I was little,
and every barbecue, every holiday, you're with family.
My mom gave me a choice. If I wanted to go, if I didn't want to go.
Sure. Let me ask you this. If your daughter or child at age 7 or 9 said, hey, do you want to go and be with the bullies? And your child said, sure. Would you let them, knowing they're being bullied? Yes or no? Would you? I'm asking if you would allow your child to make that decision.
With her being the way she is and her autism and her decision making, no, absolutely not.
Do you believe a 7-year-old knows what's best for them? A 9-year-old knows what's best for them?
In certain areas, yes. In
really?
Certain ways, yes.
What might one of those be?
I mean, they know how it's making them feel. They know whatever. And I keep it like with my daughter, and my mom did the same thing. We talked about everything. And if they said something,
you didn't.
my mom.
No, you didn't talk about everything. Well, the write-up of the show is you didn't talk about everything.
Right. Besides that or whatever. Up until that started happening, my mom and I were very close. We were open about everything.
Okay.
And I would tell my mom something. I would just change the story to make it seem different. It wasn't a bully at school. It was,
So if a child if you knew of a child being bullied by their own family, if it were, say, a neighbor family, it was not your family, it's not your kid, but you got wind that a neighbor kid was being put down, being mean, being judged, and so forth by their own family, and you heard that the child was okay with that, and let's say it's an 8-year-old boy, randomly, you'd think, well, that's okay. The child is choosing it.
No, I mean, so.
What is the responsibility, as you see it, even though it's not your business, you're just the neighbor, so you're going to keep your mouth shut, not my business. I'm not asking you to step in. I'm just curious, what do you think of the parent who in that situation allows the 8-year-old boy to say, hey, I'm cool with it. I want to go there, even though it doesn't feel good. It hurts, and they're being mean to me.
If the parent knew that it hurt and that they weren't talking to their child, I make sure, like, if that was me, it's not my child. It's not my child. So I make sure I'm in communication with that child, just like a parent should be.
Right, but you didn't answer the
Are you
question.
okay? What are you doing?
What do you believe? Do you believe that an 8-year-old going into a situation with an abusive family, which is what they were verbally abusive to you, and your mother knew it, and your mother had grown up with the exact same shit, so she knew how bad it was. Furthermore, she knew they were capable of being good because they were doing it to your sister. So they were choosing to single you out and shit on you. And she saw it, and she knew it, and she knew how much it would hurt. And she kept sending you back to family. And I'm just curious how that's a good thing.
It wasn't as bad as you're portraying it necessarily. Like, it wasn't outright, blatantly, whatever.
Judgy, I'll use your exact words. Judgy, mean, made fun of, and tore me down.
And when my mom heard it, right.
You
and
said that she knew it. She knew how they treated your sister. She knew how they treated you.
She would call them out every time, and they would make an excuse or whatever.
Over the course of 8 years, she called them out every year, every day for 8 years. But fundamentally, she didn't change. But she didn't change it. She didn't change it.
She didn't have an option. She really didn't have an option.
What does that mean?
There was nobody to help her. There was nobody helped. She had no government assistance. She had no whatever. She can't afford daycare. And daycares were worse. The area we lived in, I was being treated better by them than I was at daycare. I got locked in closets at daycare. There were no other people. All her friends were her coworkers and her stillman. They couldn't watch me.
Okay. Then you want to heal. You want to heal. Is that correct? My recommendation to you, my most solemn recommendation to you, is that let's set mom over here. Mom did her best. She did good. You love your mom. All good. Set that over there. Your parents, your family, not your parents, your family beyond your mom, they were fucking assholes to a child, and they chose to be. And I guarantee you've got so much fucking venom inside of you and pain inside of you towards them. And
I did.
No, really, what did you do to get that out?
And I mean, I'm still angry at them, and it's not okay. But this healing journey started a couple years back, and that was the first thing I worked on. Was they're just as miserable people, and that's their way of hiding it. That's their deflection.
But that's you sort of trying to find a reason for it. That's not necessarily you getting all the feelings out of you.
And since then, I've hashed it out with my aunt and my uncle. I've let them know exactly how I felt about it, how they treated me, and how it was unfair, and how
their response?
That I'm just being dramatic, and I'm a liar, and I'm a whatever. And so it was okay.
And so I got to ask, how did that feel?
It really didn't sting because I figured that was going to be their response anyways.
Then why did you go to them?
Change.
Then why did you go to them? What were you wanting?
Because I needed to let them know how I felt, and I needed to get it out of my body.
What were you wanting from them?
Just to know how they were. Maybe to reflect on themselves.
Okay. And they denied it and so forth.
I wasn't expecting
How did it feel when they denied it? And they basically said, you're making shit up.
It stung a little bit because I thought maybe we were a little more mature at this age. But it wasn't unexpected. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was just like, whatever. So I said, okay, I said my piece. I said what I needed to say, and we haven't talked since.
What's the best part of your life right now?
My little family.
That's awesome.
My daughter and her father, and because of that, I don't talk to my sister anymore or whatever, because she's just like.
Why don't you talk to your sister?
My sister and I, she's always, because she was favored by them. She was like them.
But
So we've never developed a great relationship.
what has she done to you? I'm curious. What has your sister done to you?
Well, last summer, she decided her boyfriend broke up with her, and like my sister does, jumps from guy to guy to guy to guy because she can't be on her own.
Yeah.
She didn't have anywhere to go, so she went with the whole mental health thing. Can you take me to the hospital? This and that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we really didn't have room in our space because my mom was living with us at the time, there's a whole lot of other family dynamics going on.
Mm-hmm.
I brought her up to our house. I let her live with us for 2 months.
Uh-huh.
She treated me like shit. She treated my whole family like shit.
You had a bad
And in the end,
relationship with your sister before last summer, though, didn't you?
we just never really had much fun.
Okay, so prior to last summer, what's at the root of why you don't like your sister?
It's not why I don't like my sister. It's why she doesn't like me. I've always loved my sister and tried and tried and tried my hardest.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just like them, and she judges me and for my choices, and she's never let me in. She's never developed a relationship with me.
Fair enough, and that hurts. Let me ask you,
It does hurt.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And what's the hardest part? What hurts the most about it?
I don't know what I did for her to be like that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You don't have to apologize for that.
That what I went through was to protect her. And even though she didn't know it, I've always protected my sister in every situation. Just beyond that, she'd have a bully at school when she whatever. My mom had very limited funds, and things like that. My sister was very materialistic, very whatever. So she would get the new bed, and I would take her old one. And I did it willingly because I knew my mom didn't have the money for that.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom spent more time with me and talked to me and showed me love. And that's what I wanted from my mom anyways. I don't want material things. I never did. My sister didn't want the time. She wanted the material things.
No, she wanted the time. Trust me. She wanted the time, and that's all she could get was the material stuff. Every kid.
No, it wasn't. My mom tried and tried and tried to spend time with her, and she pushed my mom away.
Well, and she had been conditioned to do so. There isn't a child on earth that, if the parents are loving, there isn't a child on earth that doesn't want to be loved by the parents.
She knew she was loved.
No, she didn't. She had. Well, I said she was. Wait a minute. She may have been taught by them other things or how to treat her or whatever, and that was encouraged. And just like you found a gang that felt like family, she found a gang that felt like family, and her gang teamed up on your mom. Mm-hmm. She got her love. And let's be honest.
And she may. You're right. She may have, but what I'm saying is, from my mom's spot, she gave us exactly the same everything, other than material things that she didn't have, because she would talk about it every time. And I said, Mom, I know you're not playing favorites. I know you're not whatever. I know my sister, that's what makes her happy and what makes her feel loved. I don't need those things. I don't even want those things, But my mom spent the same amount of time with both of us. She, did the same things for us. But either way, But
she spent more time with you. But she spent more time with you, you said.
Only because I would spend it with her.
But she did spend more time with you, so there was a difference.
She did.
Right.
And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't because she didn't try. My sister was busy going with her friends and whatever, especially when she hit, high school or whatever. She didn't want to hang out at home with my mom. She wanted to go with her friends.
Right.
I stayed home.
Okay. Tell me one last question. What can I do for you?
It's just the way you've presented certain questions and what you've already given me to think about, and the challengings of certain thoughts in my head is more than anybody's done for me.
Well, you're very gracious. I think I'm very happy that you have a family, a nice family now.
Me too.
That's a blessing.
Me too. It's nice when you get to pick your family.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
And we have everybody's got that family that's blood, and they're blood, like they're family, you got to. And that's not family, that's blood. What we have here and we choose is family.
That's nice. The belief that you are useless, a mistake, and invaluable was never true. And it's still not true. I don't doubt that you believe it, but it was never true. And what I'm offering is one thought, and you can throw it in the trash. It's okay. I won't be offended. But you were taught that long before you ever met that gang. You were taught that. And what happens is, for as much pain as clients get out with in a lot of therapy, or fears and feelings and all that, what often doesn't come out, because a lot of people don't even know how to get it out. A lot of professionals don't know how to get it out. They don't even know that's a lot. Not all. I'm not saying all.
Right.
Don't even know this is what they're looking for. But what didn't come out is the belief system that you were taught to believe about yourself long before you met that gang. And that gang just reinforced what you had already been taught. And it's those messages that you're useless, you're a mistake, and you're invaluable. And the way we unwrite those, the way we sort of jackhammer that cement that those messages got written into, is by going back into them and finding the origins of those messages. I happen to believe, and I could be totally full of shit, I happen to believe that those messages got pushed deep inside of you long before age 12. And so then where I work from where I'm working is that we got to find those origins. Who imprinted those messages? How was it done? What are the feel as I become more and more aware of that? And this is literally every single one of my clients. Every single one of my clients had these messages imprinted, different messages about themselves. And so then it's, where did they come from? Who imprinted it? What does that make me think? What does that make me feel? And you never have to confront the person. That's not the point. Right. The point is beginning to find the true origins, because it didn't start at 23. Because if you had gotten the message your whole life that you are useful, you're this wonderful blessing, you're not a mistake, you're a wonderful blessing, and that you are valuable. If you had gotten those messages your whole life, there's no way in hell at 23 that gets completely overwritten for the next 13 years of your life.
You're very right. You're very right.
And so what I was sort of trying to do today is go down deep into where those came from, who imprinted them, who allowed them, what needed to happen. Because the truth is, especially now with your child, those messages are being imprinted there. And with my children, and with my grandchildren, and Rob's children, Rob's grandchildren, it's about finding those messages. And the way we heal is to go down and find those messages. Do you have any final thoughts or questions or anything you want to ask or share?
Yeah, that was a lot. That was more than I've ever thought about it beforehand. And whoa, and I can't thank you for that. I can't thank you enough for that.
Oh, I was going to say, I wouldn't blame you if you couldn't thank me for that.
no, it's brain fart. Like,
that's all right. I have them all the time.
No, I can't thank you enough for that. And
why?
That's what
why
I mean
do you say that? I'm curious, because some of our listeners are going to hear that and they're going to think, wow, Sven just beat the hell out of her. Why do you say that?
Because it's what needs to be said. It's what needs to be talked about. Because I can't heal without doing that.
And what are the tears right now? What are you feeling right now? Why tears now?
It's a grateful tear. There's somebody that cares. You're a complete stranger to me, and it's not for show. It's not for your own gain. It's not for any of that. It's a true help. And that's rare to find.
It is.
That's very hard to find.
It is. Especially in the world that you've grown up in.
It is.
I just happen to believe that little Natasha was fantastic. She was beautiful. She was smart. She was kind. She was tough when she had to be. She was creative. She was rambunctious. She would steal an extra cookie if she could. She may be a little cranky.
As long as it was a warm chocolate chip.
Oh, yeah. Come on now. Warm chocolate chip. She'd maybe be a little cranky if she didn't get her nap. She was a wonderful, wonderful little girl. Wonderful. Blessing from God himself. Herself, whatever. The point is, there was never anything wrong with you. Never. But someone
That's what I hope to
taught
believe
you.
one day.
No, it's been true. Someone taught you to believe there was something wrong with you. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you a very simple question. You mentioned, how can God let this happen, that sort of thing. Are you a God person? Maybe you just use the word, or
very much so. You're very much been angry at him.
Understood.
Most days,
oh, I think you have a right
believed.
to. No, fair,
but
fair.
never
fair.
not believe. But yeah, very much a believer.
Good. And God can handle your anger. Trust me. God can handle your anger. Okay, okay. So then, do you believe that in the entire history of humanity, that God has ever created a shitty child? Where the child...
That's the one that I struggle with.
No, I'm asking you.
And I don't know that he's ever created one, but...
But what?
It's what they're allowed to be developed into.
Oh, I totally agree. I agree with you on that. 100%. You just said, I don't think he's ever created a shitty child. So you are admitting, you just admitted there, kiddo. You admitted that little girl, Natasha, was not a shitty child.
She's not.
You fucking ain't right, she wasn't. God damn, you know what? My listeners have heard me say it before. My dad died at the age of 92. He was born in 1928. He was a pastor for 65, 70 years, whatever the fuck it was. And dad always used to say, God don't make no junk.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's right. Dad grew up on the farms of way northern Minnesota during the Great Depression, World War II. He was a farm kid. Never wanted to leave the farm. His dad wanted him to be a pastor, but he wanted to keep farming. But my dad always said, God don't make no junk. And that means little Natasha wasn't no junk. And you just said it yourself.
Yeah.
That means somebody wrote something onto the soul of that little girl that wasn't true. It was a fat fucking lie from the beginning. You're useless. You're a mistake. You're invaluable. It was bullshit. And that was against God, what God had written on your soul. God says you are valuable. You are good. You are the best thing that's ever happened. That's what God says. So either you believe God or you believe some shitbag that said all this shit to you, all the shitbags along the way. Who's right? Let me ask you, who's right, God or the shitbags?
Gotta be God, because shitbags are shitbags.
Shitbags are shitbags. That little girl was a beautiful, sweet little girl, and I happen to believe she still is. And the only person that doesn't believe it is you and the shitbags. So the shitbags are winning when God should be winning. And you should be winning. I think you're fantastic, and I think you always have been. I'm so grateful that you came on the show, Natasha. I think you're a peach, just a peach. And I'm truly, thank you so much, and for sharing your story and just the courage it takes to tell that story every time, I'm sure, and to find new parts of the story and to sort of walk through it with us and my stumbling and bumbling and dumb questions and so forth. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure was completely ours. Rob, any final thoughts?
One of the things I've heard you say, Sven, is with your clients, your counseling clients, you ask, do you want the truth? How much of the truth do you want? And you say, well, they all say 100%. Mm-hmm. But the truth is somewhere south of that. Yeah. I think we've had an example here.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes to look at what the truth might be, and it might be different from what I'm used to sort of thinking, and it's uncomfortable and it's scary and it's hard and it's ugly. But if it's the truth sometimes. And so I just, you've got such courage, and you're such a beautiful woman and a wonderful woman. And thank you again for coming on the show, Natasha.
Thank you.
You bet. On behalf of my team, to all of you listening around the world, I think we all give thanks for Natasha today. Have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.